In this week, we're not introducing any new concepts. What I'm getting you to do is reverse engineer a class. So what do I mean by that, just to make it absolutely clear? And obviously I'll give you a lecture and we'll go through it properly. But very briefly, for those of you who read ahead and want to see ahead, what we're doing is I'm going to give you a simple procedure. Reverse engineering means really essentially you've been given this, okay, this code, and what you've got to do is you've got to build the underlying class that's used here. So you'll see that it's used here. Now this will throw tons of errors. So I'm going to show you how to do it. First of all, we're going to go back to my program class from previous, sadly destroy all my code. I hope that that was an interesting and useful. Let's get rid of all of that. So we have our public static main. The first thing you want to do when you do this is grab this code from, now this is called tasks. So what you might want to do is rename tasks, rename this program if you've already built one as tasks. So I'll do that just to show you. Rename it as tasks, which means that the file is called tasks and over here it's called tasks, right? Which means that you can then grab the whole file, and replace everything in that file. Now it's going to throw lots of wobblies. It's going to throw wobblies primarily because, right? Let's break this down. Now, why am I giving you this rather than some new concept? Well, simply because I want to show you, want to see you think through how the code fits together. We have a grade manager object, right? So you've got to work out, what does that mean? So let's explain very briefly to give you an idea. Grade manager would just have an array of grades, right? That's all it is holding in it, an array of grades. So very first thing you want to do is go into here, Java class, and you create your grade capital manager, right? And the data you will be holding in it will be this. And everything you will be doing will be manipulating that. So if you come back to the tasks, the first thing you need to do is there's your constructor. It's receiving a count. Now, if you remember how arrays work, that's the same as the array size. So you need to replace the relevant code. Now, the first thing to do is grab all of the code, all the way down to the bottom of the main. Try not to go too far, and then simply comment it out. Right? If you haven't overdone it and you've done it right, it should be fine. And that's your starting point. Now you'll notice that the style of this code is written in a slight variation. It may not strike you as very efficient. It's using its own output here, down here, helper function, and a line break just for display purposes. Don't change those. You should be comfortable enough just to work with other variations. To get that line to work, how does that work? Well, that's the grade count. That's the constructor line. If you follow the logic of how I've gone through this material. So go to grade manager, right click it, generate constructor. You want to select none and it'll give you an empty. Then you would do an integer here and you would do, what's the value called? It is called, let's just use the same word, just for simplicity's sake. Let's call it grade count. And in here, you take your array, which is called grades. There it is, there up there, right? So all I've done is I've just typed that in and say equals. Now, if I did that again, let me write that again. Grades equals new double grade count. It actually comes to your rescue and gives you all of that. Let's just double check that's all right. What's the problem here? It's got a class or interface expected. So we're missing, there's a green, there's a beginning and end, there's a yellow beginning and end. So I have an extra one here. I need to get rid of one. I have one too many, right? Look at the yellow. This bracket plugin is really, really useful. Now I've got a problem here. Let's click on it. It's saying object grade manager, new grade manager, grade count, integer grade count. Now, why is that a problem? Why is it having a problem? It can't see the grade manager, right? Because it's sitting in a subfolder over here, not because this code is wrong. So link to that subfolder. In my case, it's called objects. If I hit dot, it should find grade manager, and then I should just be able to do that. And now we can see it. So that's me showing you how to do the very first bit. So you need to follow a very similar process. Instead of append, I use a set. Instead of, and we've got a whole bunch of different methods which are there for you to interpret, to analyze it, how to update it, and how to, as quite a big challenge for you to do. But it's a really important task for you to help you get your head around how all this code works. A solution file will be provided at the end of the week, which you can then use to help you understand this worked example. And then over a consolidation week and Easter, you can complete your own worksheets ready for us on the other side for the first week we get back.